Welcome to Core Program. In this video, we discuss about developer exception page in ASP.NET Core. The exception handling is one of the key features of any application. As a developer, you should check the exception at the development level in deploy, and when the application is ready to serve on staging or production server, it should be error-free. So in development stage, the application is need to trace the development errors. In this video, we will cover how to trace these development errors in ASP.NET Core application using developer exception page. As you see in the image, in the configure method, the use developer exception page extension method adds the middleware into the request pipeline which display the developer friendly exception details page. Before implementing the use developer exception page middleware, we need to understand the basic point of that. Use developer exception middleware must call before any middleware that you want to catch exceptions. You need to enable the developer exception page only when the app is running in development environment, as you don't want to share the detailed exception information when the app runs in production or staging server. The developer exception page includes the information about stack trace, codestring parameters, cookies, headers, etc. And the developer exception code should be added on the startup.cs class and the configure method like this. Let's flip to Visual Studio and we'll see there how to use developer exception page middleware in ASP.NET Core application. This is the same application that we have used in our previous video. In that video, we use the file server options to set the default page as custom.html. Let's remove all this code. Here you use file server middleware, then in app.run we response back the result. So let's run the application. You can see instead of response of hello world, it opened the default page. As you set the default page as index.html. This is because use file server middleware combines the functionality of use default files and use static file middleware that we have already discussed about in our previous video. We have included the default HTML document with the name index.html in the www root folder so that instead of hello world, it prints the default page. Here you can see the middleware app.use developer exception page that responsible to trace the development errors in ASP.NET Core application. And this piece of code will execute when the application is run on development mode. To check the application that it run on development mode or any other mode, then go to the properties, then open the launch setting.json file. You can see that the application is running on IIS Express and the environment is set as development. When we set as staging or production, then this line of code is not executed. Also, there are other environment variables are present in ASP.NET Core application. You can see there is several type of environment variables are there. Is development, is environment, or is production. According to the environment variable, the piece of code is executed. On our upcoming video, we'll go through about the environment variables in ASP.NET Core. Let's add an exception here. Throw new exception, some text like error occurred while processing. We set here a exception, and when we run the application, we expect that error will throw. Let's run the application. Here you can see the error is not throwing. This is because the app.use file server served the request first. As you already discussed, the use file server middleware combines the functionality of use default files and use static files so that it open the index page rather than throwing the exception. Block this line of code and again run the application. Here you can see we block the app.use file server middleware and the custom exception in the run method is executed. As the use file server is blocked, it directly points to the run method. If you have any experience with the previous version of .NET, like in ASP.NET or ASP.NET MVC, then you must be familiar with this page. This is similar to that yellow screen. Here you can see there is different tabs. In the stack tab is basically including the file name and the line number that caused the exception. Then other tab is query string, like if there is any query string, suppose x equal to 10 and y equal to 20. If you go through the query tab, you can find the value here. Like this, if you have any cookies error, then you can find their headers and routing. So as a developer, this developer exception page middleware is most important for ASP.NET Core application. This is a friendly error page that a developer can analyze the proper error and can rectify it. Like other middleware components, we also customize the use developer exception page middleware. Like earlier we did in use default files, there is default file option are there, use static file option there, and in file server options there. Like this, in the use developer exception page, there is developer exception page options there. So let's customize this middleware. Developer exception page options equal to new developer exception code line count equal to let's 5. Then finally add the developer exception page here. Source code line count property specifies how many lines of code include before and after the line code that caused the exception. So run the application. You can see as you use source line count 5, you can see that on line number 39 it show the 5 lines before that, like 5 lines after. Let make us it 10 and we'll see. Run the application, and before line number 39 other information are showing. So let's discuss how use properly the use developer exception page middleware. We need to configure the use developer exception page middleware as early as possible in the application request processing pipeline, so that it can handle the unhandled exception and the display the developer exception page with the detailed information about the exception. Why I am saying that it could be used as early as possible, let's prove this. Let's select this and Control X, paste the line of code here and run the application. As you see, when you run the application, it will not display the developer exception page. Instead, the simply returns the default error status code. This is the reason why you need to configure the use developer exception page middleware as early as possible. When move this line of code to be here and run the application, you can see the developer exception page error like this. Also in the use developer exception page middleware, if you want to put your custom logic, you can do that. So finally we conclude that when in launch setting.json the environment variable is set as development mode, then this line of code will be hit. Else the application in run staging or production server, then this line of code is not hit. Let's prove this. In the launch setting.json file, let's rename to production, put the debug here and here also, then run the application. You can see that the debug is point to else part because of in the launch setting.json the environment variable is set as production. So that means when the application is going to the production, this development error will not thrown there. For more details, you can go through the core program website where the same content is written. The link is shared on the description box. Do like and subscribe for more upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.